In this video, I will show how to create an outline of the 10-minute pedestrian catchment. So here we have the 600 meters catchment from the shortest walk right there. And to create a outline, um, the way I'm going for is to get all the endpoints and then connect them into a curve outline. Right. So we connect the curves to endpoints. And here we will get the endpoints right here, all the endpoints. But we can see that there's 953 values, which means there's a lot of duplicates. So we just run that through a call duplicates, and right now we're left with 63 points. We'll try to connect them together using a polyline. Vector, but it doesn't go as planned. It's very messy. Give me 1 second. Point list. Connect that. 20. So here you can see the numbers are not in order. It's just whatever it is. And that's not good. To fix that, one way we could do it is sort the numbers out. How can we do that? Is sort the numbers out using the amount of angles. What I mean by that, I will draw. As you can see here, let's say we have 5 points. 2, 3.5. And first we'll find a midpoint. We'll connect the midpoints with the endpoints to create a few vectors. Okay? We could calculate the angles, the amount of angles of each vector, and we'll get different values from smallest all the way to the biggest angle. And using the different values, we can start reordering and sorting out the points. Then we can make it in order again. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so that's the plan. Okay, so first thing, we'll need to find a midpoint. We connect the midpoint to a vector 2 point, midpoint to a point A from the average tool, and point B will be all the endpoints. This creates a vector. It's a vector. To better visualize it, I will use a line SDL tool to direction, length, and start point. There we go. Now you can visualize how it will look like when it's in lines. Okay. The next thing we'll do is we start calculating the angles between each line. So we use the list item tool, and we pick out one of the vector out of 63 vectors. We pick out one of the vector as a starting point. We connect it to the angle tool. Vector A will be a first vector. Vector B will be the rest. So here's 63 vectors, and here's one vector. And we calculate the angle. However, there is a problem. When we connect it to the angle, you could see that every single point is in a positive value. It doesn't have a negative value. What will affect is we'll use a sort list. We'll connect the angles to keys, connect the values with the points we want to sort. And here we output all the points sorted based on the angles. We'll connect it again to a point list. Make it a bigger size. Okay, so here you can see the numbers are kind of in order, but not really. What is happening? Uh, Here you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's going side by side. The reason for that is it's only sorting based on the amount of angle. So from 0 to 1, this is one angle amount, and 0 to 2 is the second largest angle. 0 to 3 is the third largest angle, and this goes on to 4, fourth largest, and 5, fifth largest angle. So it keeps on going back and forth based on the amount of angle it has. To fix this, we have to make sure that the values that goes, the points that goes clockwise should be positive, and the points go counterclockwise should be negative. So the points will sort itself in a circle. So to do that, we use a component called the cross product. What it does is it computes vector cross product. Doesn't really say much, but what it means is that, let's go into a perspective view. So you have to give the cross product two vectors. Let's say this one is the first vector, and I'll create a second vector, which is this. What the cross product do is that it uses those two vectors, and then it makes it creates another vector that is perpendicular to those two vectors. That's what cross product do. And how can this help us dictate whether it should be negative or positive? Is that, let's say the first vector is here and the second vector is right here. This is going counterclockwise, which means this is the this vector will be a positive x value. So the cross product vector that created will go up, pointing at the z direction, right? But if you have another vector over here, this is the first vector and this is the second vector. The second vector is going at a negative x value. Then the vector will go down, as you can see here. Those two vector, the cross product vector, will go down. So that's how we could see if the value is positive or negative. We'll delete all that. And we'll go back to the top view. All right. So we run the values again. We connect all the vector 6 vector to vector A. We connect one of them to vector B to analyze. And we get a bunch of new vectors with the z value that is going in the z direction. As you can see here, now some of it is negative and some of it is positive. And we use the deconstruct vector and get the z value of the vector, and we run it through an expression. And absolute x will feed out the positive value of whatever it's given. So let's say 10, absolute 10 will be 10, absolute negative 10 will still be 10. So after dividing x with absolute x, you get a bunch of results of negative ones and ones. Over here, as you can see in the panel, a bunch of negative ones and ones, and we just need to multiply it with the angle value, and we get the values showing of all the angles, amount of angles, but having positive on the clockwise and negative on the counterclockwise. After that, we use the sort list component. We connect the results to keys. For values A, we'll need to connect it with the points that we have. And then it will come out with a new set of points. Whether it looks exactly the same, but the order has already changed. Point list. As you can see here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's great. That's what we want. Now we'll try again to connect the lines. It's connected. That's what we want. But there's an issue. There's a gap over here. And the reason for that is the endpoint stops here. But to make it a full circle, the endpoint should start there as well. So what we could do is we add another point to the point list at the position of the start point. So from here, we use the list item to extract the first point, and then we merge it back to the list of points. So right now, you have gone from 0 all the way to 63 and 64. Here you can see the original list only has 63 points. After adding another point at the start point, then we have a result of 64 points. That's the final points we have. And finally, we could connect it with the polyline again, and we get the full circle.